ODI has announced its squad for the forthcoming T20 and ODI series against Australia. Now, this is significant because this is going to be the last set of international games that India is going to play before the ODI World Cup later this year. And the news there is that Dinesh Karthik, the substitute keeper and sometimes specialist batsman, has been dropped from the team. Rishabh Pant, who is now the number one test keeper following the injuries to Ridhman Saha, has been included in Karthik's place. So now the speculation is that Karthik is probably out of favor for a place in the World Cup, and a lot of people think it's unfair because he's been playing rather well in the recent T20 internationals. The most memorable of which is his last ball six against Bangladesh in the finals of the Nidahas Trophy last year. So let's look at Dinesh Karthik's career, the recent career, and see whether it was actually a right decision to drop him. I mean, it's assumed that with India only playing one more series before the World Cup, if he's not going to play in that, I mean, he's very unlikely to go to the World Cup, unless, of course, he has a spectacular IPL. So if we look at like Dinesh Karthik's career, I mean, like this, it's been a bit of a stop-start career for him. I mean, as you can see, he is the graph below here. The x-axis uh, has the date of the match, and the y-axis is the impact in his the impact that he had. So he first came onto the scene, I think, in tests in 2004. He made his test debut as a 18-year-old, and then a few months just before that, he had this spectacular ODI where he had done this nice stumping of Harbhajan Singh in England. So I think that's what first brought him into fame. But then he has had a stop-start career mainly because he has overlapped with MS Dhoni. So this period around, so there was this period in 2006-7 when he played as a specialist batsman. Then again 2009 to 11 again, like he wasn't particularly successful, though he had a few good innings. This is only his batting performance. Then he had another stint in 2013-14, which again was like largely indifferent, and then like he has been like a bit in and out of the side now in the last couple of years. So if you were to look at the impact, right, I mean, like you can see that there have been a few games where he has had pretty good impact. I mean, if you were to look at the table above, I mean, so you see that there was this one game against Australia where he had a plus 40% impact. Where this is where he led the chase along with Dhoni, and then like before that, like, but apart from that, it's like lots of all impact either this way or that way in single digits. I mean, he had a negative impact in the chase against Afghanistan in the Asia Cup game, which we tied. But apart from this one Australia game, we have to really go back all the way to like 2017 October, when he had a reasonably positive contribution against New Zealand, scoring 64 of 92. But what you also notice is this strike rate column, right? I mean, apart from this one game against Australia, again where he led the chase, we'll take a look at that game in a minute. He has largely had strike clear rates well in two digits, and for somebody who bats at 5 and 6 in ODIs, and given Dhoni's presence in the team, and I think Dhoni's performance in Australia means that he's going to go to the World Cup. Karthik is going to play as a specialist batsman, and probably this is not simply good enough. So if we were to take a look at his last couple of games, so this was the last game he played for India. This was like at in the third ODI against New Zealand. Notice that he came into bat somewhere around the 31st over with India three down for 169 and requiring 75 of 112. As this graph shows you, like the game was pretty much won then. I mean, like India had lost a couple of quick wickets, but even before that, like I mean, the game was in the bag, and all Karthik did was to come in and add a few finishing touches, and 38 of 38 was a perfectly good score. And even though he had a plus 6% impact, it was like a game that had already been won. Now, if we go down to the next game that he played, this was the where he batted. I mean, he has played in a lot of games, but like he hasn't really got to bat because he comes in at 5 and 6. This was the game where he had a bit of a positive impact. I mean, like let's just pull up the thing. This is the game against Australia, the second ODI, where Dinesh Karthik came in with the score at 242 for 4. So at this point, I was watching the game and I thought that okay, Kohli has gotten out and the game is pretty much gone. I mean, like India needed 57 of 38, which in an ODI is not a that easy a chase. And then Karthik came in and you see lots of greens. I mean, like he kind of really MS Dhoni was already batting, but he really took over the charge. And if we kind of look through the impact, you see that like Karthik has had a massive impact on this particular game. So then now before that it was all like, I mean, like some minor impacts that he had. I mean, let's just look at the Afghanistan game in the Dubai. This was in yeah, it was this one. And if you look at the Afghanistan game, I mean, like he kind of if you just go down to his batting, you see that he came in fairly early in the innings. Actually, Dinesh Karthik came in when India he came in one down, and then like, I mean, like you see that like, I mean, India was well ahead in the chase, but like he never really took the bull by the horns, and he was just playing fairly steadily. But then like, I think he ran out Kedar Jadhav, and then he himself got out. So that resulted in a bit of a negative contribution. I think the contribution in terms of Jadav's run out is a little uncertain. The model kind of gives it to the guy who faced the ball, which is Karthik in this place. So in this case, but overall it is an okay impact. So, but the big story here is that, I mean, like, I mean, if you look at his career, it's been a lot of okay impacts. Nothing really spectacular. I mean, like, you have to go back to all the way back to 2010-11. Apart from this one game against Australia recently, you have to go all the way back to 2010-11 for to see some significant impact in Dinesh Karthik's batting. So from this perspective, I think the probably the reason why he had been kept around in the squad was that, I mean, India hadn't yet decided who the wicketkeeper for the World Cup was going to be, whether it would be Pant or Dhoni or Karthik. And with Dhoni having performed really well in the series in Australia and New Zealand, at least in terms of conventional statistics, I think it was a clear choice that Dinesh Karthik needs to go. Also, I think what's not helped him is the emergence of Vijay Shankar, who has come in as a possible substitute all rounder. And also, in the World Cup, each team can only take a squad of maximum 15 players. So that's probably one more reason why he is lost out. So you can go to card.shinyapps.io/deep extra ODI to find the analysis of all one-day internationals going all the way back to 2010. You can analyze your favorite games. You can look at the story of your favorite games and see like who impacted the game, how much. And so yeah, play around and do hit the subscribe button and share this channel with whoever you think may like it. Cheers.